go up to Sacramento, one of my friends here, she's heard this before from her boss, but one of the things that we've noticed when we go up to Sacramento on veterans issues, we might have a few different veterans groups around, but they're all separate, they're not aligned, they're not coordinated. Compare that to when the doctors go up to Sacramento to lobby for something, or when the nurses or the teachers go up. You can't get a hotel room, they're all booked up. Everybody's on the same page with a unified message, a unified agenda. I don't know that we can fix that overnight, but I think we can at least move the dial and move in that direction. So keep that in mind, that one of the things we want to do is collaborate and coordinate with each other. And one of the ways we can do that is you've got, and you'll know who's who in just a minute if you haven't already been introduced, what you've got in this room are real people doing real things. Plenty of people can dress up real nice and pretend to do things, but the people in this room actually do things. Every single one of them is very actively and intimately involved in their area of expertise. So I encourage you all to meet each other, exchange business cards, and collaborate with each other when it's appropriate. Even when it's not, see if it's appropriate, because you never know what could happen. The power of collaboration is incredible. One of the things that we're going to be discussing, or some of the things we'll be discussing today, is some of the things that are obvious. I don't think we need to spend too much time on. You know, we all hear a lot of the obvious things. Some of the not so obvious things are women veterans in military, just growing more and more every day. One of the things people don't realize, and what I want to try to impress on you, is that we have a military/veteran community. The military and veterans are joined at the hip. Now, the County of Los Angeles understands that. Their title is the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs. That we're in their house right now. They knew it. They combined it. Other people combine it as well. We all need to do that. When we start taking into consideration that we've got in California the largest veteran population in the nation, it's dwindling because of the World War II folks, but I think we've got 1.7, 1.8 million right now. We're approaching 2 million. When you add in the reserves, when you add in the State Guard, the National Guard, when you add in the spouses, dependents, kids, aunts, uncles, all those kinds of things that are involved, when you add in the caregivers, when you add in the various vendors, all of a sudden the population of that community approaches 6 million, 8 million, I don't know exactly, but instead of 20% of women, which comprise the military, we're now up to a 50% women contingent when we add in all the dependents, spouses, reserves, guards, all that kind of thing. Women are extremely important. They've been overlooked. They've been shortchanged. I don't know that we're going to fix that here today, but maybe we can identify some issues and maybe we can move the dial. I'm all about moving the dial. So that's all that we need to do, is make some incremental improvements and make them consistently, and before you know it, things are different. Thank you, Mr. Geyer. Appreciate that. It's not about that. I'm killing time so you guys can eat. Keep eating. So we're going to discuss that a little bit. We're also going to discuss some of our minority veteran issues. I represent the Jewish war veterans. Certainly we are a minority veteran contingent. Not the biggest one, but we are one. We might discuss that a little bit. Certainly, the oddest thing, and I mean, you know, hopefully nobody's offended. I'm just talking from the heart, but I grew up in Los Angeles, and somebody said, well, what about the Latino community? And I'm going, is that minority? We're in Los Angeles. 60% of my school was Latino. I was the minority, so I mean, I don't know, but if any Latinos here want to be considered minority veterans, I'm happy to extend the hand of friendship for that, and we can discuss that. African American, obviously, is another large contingent. That one's a little more obvious. I think in the state of California, the African American population nowhere near approaches the Latino population. So, you know, we might discuss some issues there. What else? Asian? Is the Asian considered a minority contingent? I don't know. I think we might have some Asian representatives here, and maybe they can tell me and you. We'll find out. So these are some of the things that we might discuss. What I'm going to ask everybody to do is going to do some self-introductions. I think I know most of the people here. When you do your introduction, just be succinct. Stand up, please. Whenever you're speaking, we ask that you stand up. We are videotaping all of this. It makes it so much easier for our camera crew to know who's talking, identify you. Don't worry if you say something wrong. The power of editing is always going to make you look good. We are not here to play gotcha, catch you on anybody. I want everybody to shine and look fantastic. And if you don't, for whatever reason, I guarantee by the time we edit it, you will. I will be sharing some of these videos that are made with the various groups that express interest, that want to move forward with them. An interesting thing that I learned from my daughter, I'm an old guy, so what do I know? I'm a little more old school, but fortunately I had the good sense to send my daughter to school, get a little bit of an education. I think you'll find that education's a fantastic thing. She got her degree in marketing. She's of the newer generation, and she keeps clubbing me over the head and says, Daddy, why aren't you guys more active on social media? If the audience you want to reach is all on social media, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook. You guys have a weak presence there. I said, well, what would we do? She goes, the hottest thing in the world right now, the hottest of hot things in the world are short reels, the TikTok reels, 60 seconds or so. Sound bites. Nobody has an attention span nowadays. We want sound bites. Get to the meat and potatoes, get to the guts. So we're going to do that. We're going to provide some of that content here. I've got some other footage for some other functions. We'll keep doing that from all of our functions moving forward, and we'll cull it down and we'll edit up some nice things that everybody can use to promote their agendas on our social media platforms. You know what? I think it's fantastic, because that's what we got to do. We got to move forward. Just another little brief thing. You know, the pandemic has killed all of us. I apologize for any faux pas, any kind of organizational issues here. I was a little bit caught off guard, to tell you the God's honest truth, as we're moving forward. I thought everybody's all excited to get back in the mix. It turns out everybody's all excited to still sit on their couch and work off their laptop. So we got to start getting people inspired, and we got to start stepping up the modern day kind of platforms and marketing efforts and whatnot. For all the good work everybody does, it doesn't really much matter if nobody knows about it. So we got to let people know about it, and social media is that key. So I wanted to impart some of those things on you. We'll do self-introductions. If you don't introduce yourself properly, whatever that may be, it'll be up to my discretion, of course. I may embellish your introduction a little bit, or I may not. Please don't be offended either way. It's nothing personal. We just want to make sure everybody is represented properly. We don't want to slight anybody, and I know that some of you humble people are a little afraid to tell us what you really do and how big a shot you really are. So we'll fix that as we go. Other than that, I want you to please enjoy your lunch to the extent that you can. And in about, I'm going to just return those calls from some of our guests that are apparently lost. And I'm going to get back up here, and we're going to start this program and do our roundtable. Again, just please, when it's your turn to speak, stand up. Oh, the other thing is, I know already, when we have a group this large, everybody's got different opinions about things. Please respect everybody's opinion. One of the things that I've learned in my life, if there's any lesson that I could impart on anybody, I don't know much, but here's one thing I do know that I've learned for me. When I was growing up, I used to ask my dad all kind of questions. Well, what's this? It could be this, it could be that. I go, what are you talking about? What is it? It is or it isn't? Black, white. Well, what I've learned is our world isn't that way. That's what it's not. And that's how we get into trouble, as we get too entrenched in these various things. Turns out, almost every answer is right. There's so many gray areas, so many in-betweens. So as you discuss things, if you disagree with someone, okay, cool, that's all right, no big deal. It may work for them, it may not work for you. Doesn't matter. It's going to work for somebody. So please, we're not here to beat up anybody or disavow anybody's opinions. We're here to share them, maybe draw from them, maybe learn from each other. And again, my goal is move the dial. We can't save the world, but we can move the dial. All righty? So again, thank you everybody for coming. I know what a challenge it is to get down to downtown LA. I don't care where you're going. It's a challenge. Driving, metro, parking, whatever. So that you would come here, honor us with your presence. Absolutely appreciated, truly, from the heart, really. Because I don't know how else to do things. This is the only way I know how to do it. In just a minute, when we get our formal program going, I'll turn it over to our, well, no, you know what? Right now, how about, I'd like to call on my wonderful friend, associate, a guy that's a veteran, been so involved in this community. He is an Air Force veteran, chaplain, done programs everywhere, USS Iowa, chaplain at the USS Iowa, former state of California Jewish War Veterans chaplain, just chairman emeritus of the National Cemetery Support Foundation. My great honor to have Dove Cohen, Chaplain Dove Cohen, give us a brief invocation so we can be inspired and start our program properly.
Thank you, Greg. Because of the configuration of the room, I think you can probably hear me better if I stand here. Almighty Creator, today we come before you with deepest gratitude in our hearts for the gifts you give us each day: family, loved ones, good friends, laughter, and our great vocations in the service of our country, the United States of America. Help us to always receive these gifts with thanksgiving. Today, as we gather to welcome those who served our country with valor, we recognize the spirit that makes our nation great, a willingness to give totally of ourselves for freedom for all peoples, even unto death, and for the greatest blessing, being part of this nation. For all the women and men of every race and creed who were and are willing to sacrifice to see a dream of equality and freedom come to fruition, and for the legacies of peace and wisdom they have each left us, we give you thanks. May we each be worthy in our own lifetimes of that noble legacy. Today, as we acknowledge all that they have bequeathed us and our country, help us be ever mindful of all that we have gained, and especially of all that we must still accomplish. Your strength enables us to protect others. Your providence keeps us safe. Help us turn our hearts toward you each and every day while we demonstrate that those who appear to be not just like us are indeed, truly, just like us. Bring those serving in harm's way home safely to this land of the free and the home of the brave, and we say together, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Dove. So just for a couple of brief remarks, I think it's appropriate that I acknowledge and thank the Deputy Director of the Los Angeles County Department of Military and Veteran Affairs. We are in her house, her home. That's Miss Stephanie Stone, Navy veteran, and if you would just welcome our guests and any words of wisdom you'd like to impart, this is the appropriate time.
I'm not going to try to outdo the things.
Stand up, please.
Wow. Okay, and it begins. There we go, Greg. Hi, Stephanie Stone with LA County Department of Military and Veteran Affairs, retired Navy corpsman. I'm just so proud to have all of you here as part of this conversation. We've had this conversation many times, Greg and I, about what we can be doing better in our community to help service our military veterans and their families. And so I'm excited about what's going to come next, and I welcome all of you to Bob Hope Patriotic Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stephanie Stone. And we're just going to go right down the list, and we don't need to, we'll save the applause for the end. We want to pack our conversation. So we'll go right around to the right, and Ms. Wimmers, if you would.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Virginia Wimmer, Deputy Secretary, Women Veterans Affairs, State of California, CalVet. Thank you. I served 26 years, United States Air Force. I retired 2012 out of Travis Air Force Base. Held a few positions, won't go through them all. I like to say I couldn't hold a job while in the Air Force, so that just makes me a well-rounded airman. So with that, I am now, my focus, I'd like to say also that I am a recovering County Veteran Service Officer. So my focus is advocating for veterans and their families. I like to, make sure I am helping folks get connected to their benefits. And I couldn't agree with you more, sir. Women veterans are the fastest growing cohort of veterans. Yes, and yet we are the least to participate in the veteran benefits programs. We do participate in the health, or we do participate in the home loan program. We participate in the education program, but for whatever reason, we don't participate in health care, and we don't participate in the pension program, nor do we participate in the compensation programs. And so, along with my friends and other advocates, we're out here making that vow to get women to understand that, yes, we are veterans. Not we are veterans too, not she served also. She's always served. She was always there. She's been there at every conflict. She's been there at every war. Before this country decided to unite, she was there. She's always been there. So I am also very proud to be a part of this conversation, and I thank you for inviting Calvet to be a part of this.
Thanks for being here.
Shad Macon, President, founder of the National Veterans Foundation. I was a U.S. Army Medical Service Officer in Vietnam. I was one of the first mental health officers in American wars, and it brought me basically surviving that to LA, 52 years coming up, and I'm honored to be here.
I gotta embellish, gotta do an embellishment. Whoever's been around a little bit, especially the Vietnam era, might be interested to know that Dr. Shad Macon is also the founder of the vet centers, and so those things were huge. I think there's some people here that would even say that their lives were saved as a result of the programs that were offered in the vet centers. So thank you for that. That's a national VA endorsed program, by the way. It's everywhere. So that was huge. I don't know how you could even top that, but you do. He also runs a hotline. His hotline takes, I don't know, 20,000 calls a week or something.
A month.
A month, okay. We're talking people in crisis, and a huge resource. So I want to make sure that we acknowledge that. Keep going.
Good morning. My name is Bob Lee. I was born in Cleveland. Oh, no. I am a U.S. Navy veteran. I served a few years in a place called Da Nang. We got that place up and running so all of you could come over and have all the fun that you had. I also served on the LA County Sheriff's Department and spent many days in this building. And I appreciate everything that Jewish War Veterans has done and will do. And I'm proud to say that I'm a vice commander at Post 138. Thank you.
It's a pleasure being here. My name is Ronnie Guy. I'm a veteran of the first major battles of the Vietnam War. The Mel Gibson movie, We Were Soldiers, is my story. I was a radio driver orderly to Halmore, who Mel Gibson portrays. We left Fort Benning. Oh, there you are. Thank you.
Hi there, Musketeers. Hi there, Mickey.
Okay.
These are outward voices.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We left Fort Benning for the first major battles of the Vietnam War with air mobility, the first, 400 helicopters, 20,000 men. And now, after the Battle of the Ai Drang Valley, Hal Moore, our commanding officer, who I served, is now having his name replace Fort Benning. It's Fort Moore.
Well, we're interested in you, sir. Tell us about you.
I'm just an appreciator because I'm here sharing what God gave me to see there and see what happened to us when we returned.
All right,
And
my turn to embellish. So Mr. Ronnie Guy is one of the most fantastic photographers you've ever seen. He is official, let me tell you. He's also involved with the Rolling Vietnam Wall, is that correct? Yeah, you're going to see something really special. They're now I don't want to steal anyone's thunder because they're here, but the National Cemetery before too long is going to be hosting the largest Vietnam Wall display that travels, and they are going to set a record for attendance. So thank you for doing that, sir. Let's keep moving. We got a big audience here.
Hey, good afternoon, Captain Ty Askew, Battalion EXO for Los Angeles Recruiting Battalion. Before this, I was at Fort William & Mary getting my MBA. Before that, 3rd ID, 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Hood, Texas. It's my career.
There's a man that knows how to introduce himself.
All right. Hi everyone, Dr. Ali de la Cruz Hong. I am the Trojan Success Initiatives Director at USC. So under my purview, I oversee 3 departments. I serve students who are low income, facing food, financial, and housing insecurity. I also serve undocumented students, former foster youth, first generation college students, transfer students, and our Veterans Resource Center. And my focus is really on serving our underrepresented and historically marginalized populations and addressing equity gaps.
Excellent. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good afternoon. My name is Janine Williams. I'm an Iraq Army veteran. I am now serving as the center supervisor for the Veterans Resource Center at USC. So I'm in charge of community engagement and programming for our veteran and our military students and community at USC.
Good afternoon. My name is Cindy. I am a student at USC. I am also a vice president of the Veteran Club. Also, I work as the programming assistant at VRC.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cedric Thomas. I am a retired California National Guardsman. Currently, I'm the office administrator for the Los Angeles National Cemetery. I think everyone kind of knows what we do there. But besides that, we're also here to let you know about the benefits that we extend past that veteran, to their spouses, to their children. So any questions about that, feel free. I got you.
Good afternoon, Glenn Schechter. I am past commander of Hollywood Post Squadron 43. We're the Sons of Veterans. And I'm also president of the Los Angeles National Cemetery Support Foundation. We assist the cemetery, Cedric and the director, with all of their programs.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Daly, United States Marine Corps, URA. I'm the current commander of Hollywood Post 43, the District American Legion 24 first vice commander, the state membership director, and on the national level, I host their podcast Tango Alpha Lima. This week we have somebody from the Vet Center. I think it's Chief Transition Counselor, Chief Transition something, and so we touch on a lot of the things that you guys talk about. And I probably want to talk to a few of you about suggesting you as a guest onto the program. So thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to meeting all of you.
Good afternoon, Chaplain Dov Cohen, U.S. Air Force, Vietnam. Never served in country. They had me running all over Europe, and I was proud to do it. Thank you all for coming here today. I'm hopeful that we will, with God's grace and wisdom, leave knowing more than we know and doing more than we thought we could do. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am so proud to be here. First of all, sorry to take that moment, but I am very proud. I'm the Pink Lady. I am an actor. I produce 8 senior musicals. I have a television show called Pink Lady Presents, which is a show introducing living lives well, as all of you here are doing. I also have 5 children, 6 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren who all call me Pink Grandma, so we know who we are. I'm very proud to be here today. I'm as a member of SAG-AFTRA Veteran Military Committee and also the National Senior Committee. With my partner, Chaplain Dove, I help him with every event. So proud of all of you here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, why not? Hi, my name is Jerry Silverman. I'm the department commander for our state. And I'm a member of Post 385 in Carlsbad, California. We have a very close relationship with the Marine Corps by the work we do with the hospital and with the various branches of the Marines in their aviation and in their seagoing adventures. And we have also a fairly large relationship with providing knitted goods for the veterans, things like lap blankets and stub covers and those sort of things. And we have a group of ladies that we provide the wool for, and they provide the work for, and it's been very successful. And we meet with the hospital there 2 or 3 times a year to see what else they need and to distribute the things that we've made. So we look forward to a long and happy relationship with them. We also spend some time trying to recruit on the base. And we have been looking at getting a number of young fellas and a couple of the married guys that have children to come out to our meetings, and a couple of them have done it on multiple occasions. Some of them have also applied for the scholarships through the JWV. We look forward to, I look forward to a closer relationship with the outstanding groups of JWV, which have been very hard to contact during this era of plague, so that most of the work that's been done, contact has been by Zoom. But I'm kind of looking forward to this year to start more personal contact with the various units, and I'll be happy to see any of you anytime. Give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry Silverman, by the way, retired Air Force, I believe, right?
Flight surgeon. Flight surgeon.
Flight surgeon. Bingo. Okay. Keep going.
Hello, my name is Sergino. I am president at the USC Veterans Association and also an Army veteran. And I also have my mom was in Air Force and my grandma and grandpa was in the Army, so I am also dependent as well.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jarek Galindez. I'm the incoming president for the Veterans Association of USC. I am also a Navy corpsman, very proud of that, and I am honored to be here. Look forward to collaborating with everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leo Trinos. I'm also a USC alumni, so it's definitely nice to see USC being represented. I'm with JVS SoCal, the program manager for Veteran Peer Access Network, District 1, out of Hilda Solis's office, District. So, pleasure to be here.
Rudy Andrade. I work with JVS SoCal and their VPAN team, Veteran Peer Access Network, and we are with Supervisor District 1, and very glad to be here. Semper Fi.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Leal. I'm Army veteran, advocate, just basically out boots on the ground. Glad to be here. I see a lot of movers and shakers, a lot of great people that I'm surrounded with to make me a better person. And to better explain on what I do is about a year ago, I had a 24-year-old man that was introduced to me. And I took possession of this young soul. And for a year, I mentored him. Little did I know that he was mentoring me. But I mentored him and I gave him a position in my company and I made him a supervisor. I groomed him. But it was the hardest point for that individual. Because at 24 years old, he got out of the Marine Corps He was a high-speed, gung-ho infantryman. And to take him from an infantryman to a civilian job, it was not easy. His transition was very hard. He couldn't understand why civilians didn't move with a purpose. He didn't understand. It was a lot, and I had to slow him down. Yesterday, he came to my house, and he gave me a hug, and he told me, thank you for everything you've done for me, because I used to be him. And he's now going to Wisconsin, where he's going to become a full-fledged deputy out there. And it was very interesting to see an Army guy and a Marine guy stare at each other. And we really wanted to hug one another and say, because we knew that we were an impact towards one another's life. But I realized that there's a lot of men and women getting out of the military and they're not ready. They're not ready for that transition. They don't understand. And the most interesting thing about that is usually when I get a service member that comes out of the active duty or the reserve, the first thing that I do is advocate for them in our company to make them supervisors. But I've always found out that it sometimes works against them because they're so used to being told what to do, what to report, that sometimes I have to tell them it's okay for you to think for yourself. It's okay for you to make decisions. But it's very unique to get them out of that mentality and into a process where they can live long and great lives in the workforce. So that's what I do. I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much. Dove is a great friend of mine, a lot of familiar faces, so thank you.
Yeah, embellishment time now. I gotta do a little embellishing, just a little. So one of the things Joe Leal did not tell you is that for several years he was also a commissioner right here at the Los Angeles County Department of Military Veteran Affairs. I guess he's termed out. So I think maybe as of just the end of March was when we thought it'd be very fitting, not only for just what he does, but how great an honor to have one of our commissioners actually come, and what a great parting way to leave the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. Well, I'll take the authority and I'll still keep you on as a commissioner for this purpose right here, okay? And then you can resign that commission afterwards. And I just wanted to tell you also, see, he sandbagged. Also works with the vet hunters. Those are the people. Got another guy here that works with them, Mr. Michael Gregory, sitting at one of the back tables. But those are the guys that go out in the trenches, so to speak, areas like Griffith Park, areas like the LA River, where veterans set up encampments where they can't be found. But Joe finds them, brings them in, gives them the benefits and resources that they need to turn things around. So that's some of the grunt work for sure. Once a grunt, always a grunt, right, Joe? That's it. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sergeant Segui. I'm a recruiter with the LA Battalion. I'm on the beginning end of what Joe does on the tail end. I'm at the beginning, so I try to teach a lot of young men and women about all the benefits that the Army has to provide and offer and what you can get out of it. I've been in 20 years. I started out as a heavy equipment operator, construction, and now I'm a recruiter. It's my second time being a recruiter, by the way, too, so that's all.
Good afternoon. My name is Tanya Tran. I'm not really good at talking about myself, but I am the Military and Veteran Affairs. I run the Military and Veteran Affairs Department at USS Battleship Iowa. I am currently proudly serving as well. I've been in for, well, next year will be 16 years. I joined when I was 17, so you can do the math. I'm really proud to wear the cloth of the country. And we focus primarily on community, education, families. Also, we work with VPAN as well, and I run a nonprofit called Women Are Heroes too. It's www.wah2.org. Shameless plug. Yeah, and my background is also in radio, so sometimes if you've ever heard my name on the radio, that was probably me at one point. Yeah, so we one of the biggest radio stations out in Los Angeles, Power 106, so it's pretty legendary. I'm really happy and grateful to be here. I'm really excited to meet each and every one of you, and I hope to continue collaborating and, you know, keep the generations of service members moving forward in life. So I know all you have a lot of experience here. I'm one of the rookies, I think, in this room. So, all right, thank you. Thanks, of course.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Steve Braverman. I'm the director of the VA Greater Los Angeles Healthcare System. Our veteran community provides health care to 90,000 veterans in our 5-county area. We have 11 facilities overall. I was fortunate to spend 29 years in the Army, the first 12 or so as an academic physical medicine and rehab physician at Walter Reed, then went on to operational stuff where I was commander a couple times at hospitals, and Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, went to Iraq. So it's a pleasure to be here and continue the discussion that we'll have after these introductions. Thank you.
Thanks. And I just want to say, this guy, you know, he's a working physician at the largest VA medical facility in the network. So it's a really stretch for him to come here and be with us. So we thank you so much for honoring us with your presence.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sam Uden. I'm, excuse me. I'm a sergeant major in the U.S. Army. I'm also a post commander in Jewish War Vets, and I'm involved in the community through various nonprofits, some faith-based and mostly veteran organizations. Thank you.
Good afternoon. What an honor to be with you all. This is what a humbling group, I've got to tell you. Just hearing the introduction stuns me. My name is Dave Smith. My go-by, I'm one of those Air Force guys, is Jester. There's a story there we can talk about later. About 30 years of active duty time flying B-52s as a bombardier, and then eventually had a rare opportunity to go and qualify as a test pilot, moved to Edwards Air Force Base, where I continued as a civilian. And when I retired after close to 30 years of Air Force service, frankly, I needed uniform methadone. And I heard about this unique thing called the State Guard, where I could hold a Title 32 commission as a supporting command to our amazing guardsmen from the Army and Air National Guard, and direct support for their mission, along with support to the governor and the adjutant general, who we directly serve at the pleasure of. It's a fabulous honor to be with you all today, and I'm sure we'll chat more later.
Well, that's fantastic. I've got to do another little bit of embellishment here, you know, just a little. So General Smith neglected one little thing that I find interesting, and if I find something interesting, there's a good chance other people do. He mentioned about being a little test pilot there at Edwards, but whoever has heard of that famous Skunk Works, that's where they do those experimental, well, there's the guy that runs that thing. So, you know, just to let you know, Sandbagger over here. General Sandbagger, we're going to call you. Okay, keep going.
I'm Jack Jacobs, U.S. Army, retired.
No, there's no embellishments. You know what? I wouldn't. It's classic. No, I wouldn't say a word. Keep going. You already know me.
Good afternoon. Well, good afternoon. I'm Scott Abrams, District Director for Congressman Brad Sherman. Greg, I thought you liked me, but then you had me speak after Colonel Jacobs, and I don't know. Anyways, amongst other things that our office does, we help veterans with their benefits through our casework system. We'll be talking a little bit later about the casework we did regarding Captain Ben Solomon, and our office got involved in that matter, and so we'll be telling that story. Also proud grandson of a Jewish war veteran who was active with his post. He gave me all the values that I have today. And with apologies to Chaplain Dove, I'll tell you, my grandfather said, if I didn't get involved in politics, I would have been a rabbi. And so I'll say happy Passover to everyone celebrating. And I'll point out that it's called in the Hebrew, Zaman Cherutenu, the time of our freedom. And so it's humbling to be with so many people who are responsible for the freedom that Americans have today. So thank you all.
Should I stand up or?
Yeah, absolutely, you're next. Okay. I didn't need to embellish. He knew how to. He's done the introductions. Good. He knows how to do them.
Thank you, Greg. My name's Nelson Melitz. I'm the National Commander for the Jewish War Veterans. 32 years in the Air Force. Started out in civil engineering, or what you Army people say, combat engineering. Okay, ended up in acquisition. Yes, Vietnam through Iraq. Left Iraq in 2006. Fantastic assignment, but I decided it was time to retire. Actually, my wife and children decided it was time for me to retire. Okay, After that, I joined the Jewish War Veterans a number of years later, had an opportunity to move up the ranks. Like I said, I'm national commander at this point. I'm trying to improve the organization. We are the longest serving active veteran services organization in the United States. And we are modernizing every day, changing things that we did in the past. On the civilian side, I'm a partner with the Land, Sea, Air Security Organization. We have opportunities to sell our security items, do wildfire detection equipment throughout the world. Thank you very much.
All righty, so we know who's who now, and it's time to just keep moving. I think we're going to start our discussion with one of the things that is on everybody's mind, or at least everybody I think would acknowledge, and that's the subject of education. I think there's probably nobody that would disagree that education is a ticket, it's a key. Well, maybe I'll silence that, but education is critical, it's a key. If you want to move forward in this world, you probably might want to know something. Fortunately, today we have some people that know a little something about education, I think. We have some representatives from a little school called University of Southern California, my alma mater, by the way, 1980, venture management, school of business. Anyways, yeah, so we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to start that discussion with somebody who also knows a little bit something about education, a person who's been involved in education for over 50 years, as a matter of fact, in another little school that some of you might have heard of, a little school on the east called West Point. It's the United States Army Military Academy, probably one of the more famous institutions. Go Army, beat Navy, Miss Stephanie. So without too much further ado, what I would do is I would ask Colonel Jack Jacobs, who, by the way, has been an instructor at West Point, like I say, for 50 years, currently an instructor there. We're lucky to get him out here. He's got a teaching schedule that's incredible. He's there every week, teaching those plebes how to be officers. If anyone would know how to do that, obviously it would be this man. I'm asking you, sir, for some, general comments about what you think about education, the status of education, what you're seeing with our students currently, anything that moves, touches, and inspires you about that.
All right, well, first of all, I don't teach plebes. I teach firsties, so these are mostly people who in a couple of months are going to leave West Point, get a commission, and going to be in charge of 40 people, everything in the lives of 40 people. So they go instantly from being college students to being in charge of training kids, other kids, and defeating the enemy. If you talk about transitions, that's a difficult one to make, especially even though they're going to West Point. I got to West Point, you're right, it was almost 50 years ago, wasn't it? A long time ago. The Army, when I was going to the advanced course, I was a captain. The Army sent me to graduate school. And they sent me to West Point to teach international relations and comparative politics. The trouble with getting old is that not only don't your knees work anymore, but you think about all the time that's elapsed since you first started doing what you're doing. And I'll give you some example of how fast time goes. Many of you are still quite young. I mean, you're probably 60 or something like that. And so pay attention. I tell kids all the time, kids procrastinate all the time. They love waiting. I found out why that's so. So from their view, well, they have an unending stream of days that go over the horizon. They don't have to do it today. They'll do it tomorrow, the next day, or next week, next month, next year. They got they have all the time in the world. And then when you get to be old and decrepit, you realize that there is not a whole lot of time left. And that's why people who get a little bit older and more mature start working very, very hard to make sure that they get accomplished what they would like to get accomplished and they don't procrastinate anymore. And I discovered why it is, why time seems to go so fast when you get to be 150 years old. It's because every day is a larger and larger percentage of what you got left. And I tell kids all the time, nobody lies on his deathbed, and to the extent that he's compos mentis, says, you know, I made a big mistake. What I should have done was wasted more time. That's what I should have done. Nobody says that. And every once in a while, I get a couple of kids who actually respond to that and wind up doing well. As an example, one of my cadets years ago was Ray Odierno, who grew up to be Chief Staff of the Army. He was enormous. I mean, I've got a picture of him and me. I look like mini-me next to him, a huge guy. He sat in Thayer Hall in the students' seats, and he could get in with some difficulty, but it required a couple of other cadets to help him get out of it. Otherwise, the chair was stuck to him. He was so huge. Marty Dempsey, who became chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, was one of my cadets, as was a guy named Bob Caslin, who was the commandant of West Point and then turned out being the superintendent of West Point. I'll be very brief about this anecdote. He's the only guy to be the commandant, the 1-star, and then became the superintendent. When he was the commandant, he came over to where my office was. I'm up there 2 mornings a week is all. He found out which days I was up there. He came over and he said, "Hey, sir, I bet you never thought I'd be a general." And I said, "Caslin, I never thought you'd be a captain." And he grew up to be a 3-star and run the whole place. What you think when you look back on all that is how proud you are at having been maybe responsible for people growing up the way that they did. And in fact, the large majority of kids, if you work on it, will grow up the way they're supposed to. Our problem is that though we have a responsibility to teach the next generation and the generation after that, is that we don't commit ourselves to doing it. I'm preaching to the converted here, but other people are going to hear this. And therefore, we don't do a very good job of it. I think our single most important job is to reach into the future through education. It's really the only way you can reach into the future. To reach into the future and make sure that whatever lessons we've learned get passed on to succeeding generations. If we don't do that, all is lost. And all the service and the sacrifice of all the people who came before us and taught us what we know will have been in vain. So I think it's worthwhile if we all make a commitment every single day to do what we can to teach everything that we know to succeeding generations. It's only that way we're going to remain free.